Good morning and welcome to the meeting of the Marine and Freshwater Quality Committee. We will start by introducing ourselves by name, starting with Valerie to my left.
Hello, my name is Valerie May.
Judith Bruce?
Carol Etzold.
Judy Scanlon.
Rich Levy.
Ed Hafner.
Thank you. Good morning. The first item on the agenda is the Uncle Harvey's Pond Management Plan, the alum treatment, and I have a final update for you. The curtains were removed the Thursday before Labor Day weekend, so that's great. And the other thing I want to mention, I happened to run into Ed Eichner and Brian Howes last week. They were sampling Uncle Harvey's Pond as part of the, after the alum treatment monitoring that they're doing. They said Uncle Harvey's Pond looks excellent. They said the Uncle Harvey's Pond dissolved oxygen a half meter off the bottom was 4.5 milligrams per liter, which is very close to the 5 milligram standard. And that's really great, because typically it's anoxic at this time of year, so.
Yeah,
That's unofficial results, but the source is pretty reliable, and they said things look really good there, so.
But that's not the final update because the 30-day post
Yes, yes.
installation is overdue.
Yes, no, it's 30 days from the curtain removal, I believe.
No, from the end of the installation. That wasn't curtain removal.
I just spoke to George, so he said 30
This
days
is a
from
constant.
removal. Yeah, whatever. It's not the final. There will be a report. There will be a report, but I thought that was great that the curtains have come out and things are looking, at least initially, very good. So that's the only update I have. And the DO that's excellent to hear about that. Does anyone want to add to that? Okay, we'll wait for the report from Solitude. And I don't know if Scott Fisher is out there. Mia, is Scott Fisher there?
No.
Okay, our consultant, I wasn't sure if he was going to drop in or
It's a
not.
little ahead, but on APCC analysis of Uncle Harvey's Pond,
Right?
they said everything was really low compared to earlier in the year, so.
You mean concentration of cyanobacteria?
Yeah, and the
Okay.
microcystin levels, which is the toxic.
That's great.
Yeah, so everything looks good, in other words, from
Yeah.
that point of view.
Right now, initially, it's very encouraging. Yeah, thank you, Ed. I just wanted to do a brief summary of our estuary monitoring and also our freshwater pond. The next item is the estuary monitoring. I tried to look quickly and tally up number of samples for this year that were collected in the estuaries.
Recording in progress.
Oh, that's weird.
Nice to know.
Okay. The Nauset Estuary, we have 14 stations. 3 of them actually are Cape Cod Bay, and the rest are Nauset Estuary. As you probably remember, there were 5 sampling dates, and so about 214 samples were collected over the season for that particular area. And then Pleasant Bay, we have 23 stations, 5 sampling dates, and around 372 samples were collected. So 586 by my just initial count. That includes some duplicates. So things were, a lot of samples were collected and a lot of data will be forthcoming. And I do want to thank, of course, the volunteers that participated in the sampling program this year. As always, without them, we cannot do this. And that includes members of this committee and all the volunteers that went out in boats and people that took them out in boats and dipped water and took measurements, direct reading measurements. And extremely, extremely grateful for their participation.
And did we even miss one site?
Yes.
On one day this year?
Twice, we were unable to sample Woods Cove due to lack
Oh.
of boats to get we had the dedicated and very devoted sampler to do that, but she did not have a way to get there. One time, another team did 2 extra stations on top of the 2 they already had. The other 2 times, they did 3 instead of 2. They picked up the station off Stony Island. We had to make a decision of which one, if they could only do 3. And we determined that the Stony Island site was probably more important to continue to get. And so Wood Cove did not get sampled twice of the 5.
Well, and kudos and thanks to Goose Hummock
Yes.
and Phil Howarth, because they did 3 all summer.
Yes.
And if not for them, we would have had nothing for Town Cove. So that was a huge
Wow.
contribution,
Right.
and the entire town is very grateful to Goose Hummock and to Phil
Right.
Howarth.
And Charlie Carlson, Steve O'Grady, Walter North, and Judy, was it Brainard, I think, on the team?
Ryan.
Ryan, excuse me, Judy Ryan. They are the ones that picked up some of those extra Stony Island, and in one case, Woods Cove. So, yeah, we're going to have to look at that for next year as far as watercraft for transport. So that was my update, at least on the marine estuary. So there will be, the data will come eventually. SMAS will work it up, and we'll get the data, the raw data. I think, maybe Judith, you know that, is Dr. Duncanson preparing a 5-year summary report on Pleasant Bay?
I don't know that.
Periodically, they come out with a 5-year update for all of Pleasant Bay. All right. Any other comments on this? Does someone want to add, or? All right, well, thanks again. The Sarah's Pond project, and then also APCC's monitoring project, if you have an update.
Yeah, Sarah's Pond, the bottom oxygen is way up over
Great.
5 or 6. The oxygen has fully returned to the pond. That entire equipment has almost been entirely rebuilt. So all of the flexible, we had been accumulating all of the input for the inventor and manufacturer to make upgrades to the equipment. So all of the flexible tubing has been replaced with the more permanent welded hard plastic. The diffusers and intake have been placed on wooden sleds and further raised off the bottom. Much of the tubing has been replaced with copper tubing. It has had really a complete major overhaul since before Labor Day. It has been running seamlessly and smoothly since. So we're hoping that all of those things that had been glitches have now been identified and corrected and upgraded. As I say, the entire pond is filled with oxygen and looking good. I will be taking algae and nutrient samples for the last time this year, but we'll probably continue to monitor for at least 2 or 3 weeks. We're curious to see, so the machine has, because the oxygen's so good, the machine's been turned down to 8 hours a day from the 24, and we'll continue to see how fast it loses oxygen with the machine first turned down and then turned off for the season. So it will then be winterized and started back up again in April next year.
Great.
Do you haul the parts out of the pond itself
No.
over winter?
I don't believe they will be.
And is there a report that's going to be issued that will be available to the public? I know this is through AP.
Oh, yeah. So
OPC.
periodically, those reports go up on the website. The last reports and the last technology are up. So more than likely, Dr. Wagner will be analyzing this year's data, and it will most likely be up sometime this fall.
Great.
And then, I mean, typically, every fall, you can
Okay.
expect an updated report.
Thank you. Mr.
Oh, and I was
Hack-
disappointed that none of you were at the tour, but the tour was well-attended and very much appreciated. A lot of people came
Yeah.
to check it out and see
It's,
what
it's
was.
a farmer's market day and tough day for us, but, but it was well-attended, which is good.
Yes.
So I'm glad that there's a lot of interest in it. Of course, we get updates from you, so. I would like to see it someday, though.
Well, I mean, interestingly, I am in regular communication with at least 5 people from ponds all over Cape Cod, New York, Michigan, very interested
good.
in the results of this technology
Sure.
and what works well and what doesn't work well and the application for theirs. So there's a lot of interest, including saltwater estuary interest. This will work as well in saltwater. So it's going to be an interesting future for this technology.
It's nice that Orleans can lead the way in some cases, too. It won't be
Absolutely.
the first time either, you know.
As Dr. Wagner has said, this could be a game changer.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you, Judith. Mr. Hafner, I know you just gave us an update on Uncle Harvey's, but there's other ponds, too.
Yes, the other 3 ponds are all doing well. There's been no issues for us in Orleans, so that's the good news.
For the cyanobacteria. Yeah, and I
Yeah,
understand
cyanobacteria.
other ponds on the Cape have had some issues, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
toward Falmouth in that area.
Yeah, and interestingly, a Shumet pond, which really surprised me, because that's where they did the phosphorus-reducing PRB to address the plume coming down from the what used to be Mass Military.
Otis,
then was
whatever,
Otis,
yeah.
That was joint, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that was, I understood, working extraordinarily well. So I was really surprised to see that as being one of the ponds listed with cyanobacteria blooms. I mean, that goes back, certainly, that PRB, I think, was installed some 20 years ago, 15 years ago? I
Oh,
don't know. So perhaps it's just run its course.
Or needs a change, don't they change what they put in them sometimes? Put new stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, huh. Well, this has been a strange season, too. We had a drought, and then all of a sudden, rain. I don't know if they got 7 inches when we did, but I didn't know, there was another time that down that part of the Cape got,
the Upper Cape was not in drought most of the summer.
right.
whereas
We hung
our
on to the
Elbow
drought
was.
status for a long time. We may be out of it now. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think we're out of it.
After this week.
We're still down?
I think we're still down
I
considerably.
do know that the juvenile herring fry were able to, at least a lot of them, leave.
Oh,
Fine.
good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Well timed.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Rain.
Yes, because they couldn't get out of Pilgrim Lake, and they made it now, but. Was there anything else, Ed?
No, that's it.
That's
Thanks.
it. Well, thank you for the update. With regard to our freshwater pond monitoring, in the spring, we successfully sampled 13 ponds with around 99 samples collected, plus SMAS does Cedar and Uncle Harvey's, so I didn't include that in the total. And then this late summer sampling for PALS, 9 ponds were done, plus SMAS, Cedar, and Uncle Harvey's, for 69 samples, total samples, and then some duplicates on top of that. We did not sample in August Uncle Israel's and Uncle Seth's due to low water and mud, as Judith has reported. And also, we did not do Ice House in Boland this year. So that's a total of 168 samples plus some duplicates. And again, thank you to the volunteers that go out and do our freshwater ponds.
Was there a reason why you didn't do Ice House and Boland?
Yes, the volunteer had unexpected foot surgery, and
Oh, okay.
and it really, just wasn't time. And then we had weather issues with remnants of hurricanes and high winds, and there was no way to, there was about 3 or 4 days left of the PALS sampling period. There was just no way to get out there and do it. So
Okay.
we did get them in the springtime. We also have, in some cases, 20 years of monitoring, so
So sometimes a last-minute blast, if you know the days you're doing them.
Yeah.
Sometimes those of us who do them often can jump in quickly and do them at the last minute if we know that a couple aren't getting done.
Okay. So that's really all I had on the updates of that, and again, thanks to everyone who participated. The minutes, and I know we're not going to do the September 2nd minutes, but I know we have the August 30th minutes to review and approve. and Rich, they did a great job as usual, and,
I know Judith said she reviewed it. You said you reviewed them.
Yeah,
right?
no, I
And
said
everything's
fine, yeah.
With the way it was, so
Yeah.
you guys have looked at it.
I think I just saw
So-
a missing letter in Ed's name or something. Mine.
I'll move approval.
Do I hear a second?
Salary? Oh, you want to do the motion to approve?
She approved, second, I'll second. Judith made the motion.
Yep. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
you,
Abstain,
Rick.
opposed?
Okay, so 600,
It's
thank you.
unanimous. Do we still need to do a voice vote? I don't know when it's,
I
I
think
don't-
Dan's is
we
probably
don't
better.
I
have it
don't
anymore.
think that a voice vote is.
We don't
when
have to
you're-
do that
When
anymore?
you're meeting in public, I don't
Okay.
believe that you need to. I mean,
Okay.
You can, but I don't believe you need
all
to.
right. Again, I thank you, Rich, for
And I'll get you the other one soon.
such, that's okay. We had 2 meetings, you know, very close together, so,
Unfortunately, busy schedule this month.
yes. I put the Fall Town Meeting warrant article, you know, that would include the fresh Crystal Pilgrim and Uncle Harvey's and Lonnie's on here, just in case there was an update as a placeholder. I don't have much of an update. Maybe Judith has some more information, but
Well, I believe,
I was-
we got there, gang. I believe it is Article 22, Fund Wastewater Master Plan for Freshwater Ponds and Tonsett Road and Rock Harbor watershed areas.
yeah, as I was about to say, I think the final warrant had to be completed.
Yeah, I have not seen all of the final language.
Right. But
But-
I just spoke with George before the meeting. It's a request for $250,000, and it does include what we recommended as far as cost estimates for the connecting Pilgrim, Crystal, and the Uncle Harvey's. So that
Okay.
is just,
And it's no impact to the rate since it's out of the stabilization fund, which always helps. Definitely always helps.
so I'm sure there'll
This
be
is-
more.
Well, I was just going to say, this is, it's called, if you want something to happen, you must make noise.
Right.
It's not always pleasant,
Right.
but it is always necessary.
Right.
If you sit back quietly and say, this is a nice thing, it will sit on the shelf for
Right.
3 to 5 years, as Uncle Harvey's did. Hopefully now something may happen with this.
And we certainly thank you for driving that bus.
Well,
It
and
didn't go off the cliff.
Thank you.
It stayed on the road. So, and
I thank Ed for doing a beautiful job of parallel parking that bus.
And I want to thank also, Ed,
We could just keep this one going,
Yeah.
can't we?
also thanks to Ed Hafner for reading, you know, the statement at Public Speak.
I didn't stumble too much.
You did a fine job.
That's what I meant by parallel parking the
Oh,
bus.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I have thoughts that I would like to also, you know, either read at Public Speak or send as a formal letter from us, I'm not sure. But I will send something out to you to look at, just see what you think.
Yeah, it's a good idea, more.
Yeah, just to
more,
kinda
support
keep it-
for Keep it going.
You know, just to follow up on the message that was already read, you
Yeah.
know, especially thanking the Select Board for advancing the article.
Yeah.
It just needs to come to everyone for approval.
Yeah,
Would it be,
I just said I was going to send it out. I may read it just as my own personal comments, not representing the committee. I haven't decided yet, you know. But
would it be advisable to plan to speak at the town meeting?
Well, I think we should be prepared to speak, depending on what kind of comments are coming from the floor. I think it's good for our committee to support the article when it comes before. Of course, we haven't seen it yet, but I suspect that we will want to support it, obviously, so, yeah.
So I think probably the next step would be to follow the select board agendas.
Yeah.
And when that article was being voted on by the select board, it would be a good idea to public speak to it then, and to see how that vote goes. It would probably also be smart to meet with or public speak to the finance committee and see where they're coming from and how they stand on it, and what the thought is there, because that's another important.
What committee did you say? The finance?
Finance.
The Finance Committee. So at town meeting, all articles
Right.
are pre-voted on by both the Select Board and the Finance Committee, and both typically have a statement. Finance Committee should really only be a statement to make when they disagree with something or when there's a split vote, but they often have a statement to make regardless.
So how do we meet with them? Does that mean the chair meets with them, or?
No, you go to their meeting.
Oh,
Right.
Okay, okay.
Yep,
I think Thursdays, is it?
possibly. Sometimes they do
I
a
need to-
joint meeting with the select board, but I'm not sure what their schedule, yeah. Is Lynn Bruno the chair? Yeah. I can find out.
It might be a good idea to give them Judith's metaphor on paving the driveway and leaving the last 2 feet. I mean, the finance there should be interested in the money.
Absolutely.
And that would be a good way to tell it
Well, they
to
should
them.
also be extraordinarily interested in the fact that you can knock off 2 ponds with one action.
Yeah,
With
right.
Pilgrim and Lonnie's, as
Right.
opposed to having to do 2 completely separate actions to address each. Because that's a big one as well.
Yeah,
I missed
That
We
makes
need to
sense
be-
to
We need to
them.
be smart about how we spend wastewater dollars.
yeah,
Right.
I missed your
don't waste it.
first presentation of your analogy.
Oh, so Uncle Harvey's Pond and the committee, Judy and Carolyn had asked the select board to please look at the cost of adding just these 6 to 7 properties.
Right.
Right. And as I think we know, the reason that it's, quote, 4 to 7 is there are 4 properties immediately affecting the pond. There are 3 more that are expected to affect it in the very near future due to the flow of phosphorus to the pond. That somehow got translated, I don't know how, to a request to look at the cost of sewering the entire ring of properties
Right, all
around
the way
Uncle
to-
Harvey's. It
to
wasn't even the
somewhere.
watershed of Uncle Harvey's. It was, I don't know what they were
Yeah,
thinking
I
of.
remember that.
It was 179 properties that the select board immediately fell over dead and said, you gotta be kidding. And
And so did
we spent the next 2 years trying to find out why that happened and why there wasn't an accurate reflection on just the cost of these 4 to 7. So this was still all kinds of crazy mixed. I finally went out there and drove it because it's almost impossible. You can get the watershed map, but it's really hard to see why, oh, they were saying it was going to take 23 properties to connect and it was going to take 50 properties. Well, it's not. I mean, the existing sewer plan for Meeting House Pond comes out Baxter to Poche. The next house down is the 7th house of, the next 6 houses down are all that's needed. It is one side of Poche Road, right down from Baxter. Now, if for some reason, because that's a low pressure, because it's not large enough to have additional houses, they had to go to where the sewer line ends on Poche Road, they would pick up 2 more houses. There's no 23, there's no 59, there's no 179. This is ridiculous. So the analogy that I used before was if you were going to decide that you wanted to pave your driveway, and then you just stopped 2 feet short of the end to save some money this year, when you went back to do the last 2 feet, it's going to cost you a fortune because that company is going to have to come back and stage all their equipment and supplies to pave 2 feet. Whereas if you had that 2 feet added when you were paving the driveway in the first place, it would be an inconsequential cost. So this is just stupid, not to take these 7 properties for Uncle Harvey's Pond. I mean, finish the management plan. Tom Daly is already looking at the stormwater intrusions for Uncle Harvey's. We've done the alum treatment for the internal. Finish it.
And I
Just
think
do
we're
it.
hoping that they'll do the
Oh,
Uncle Harvey's
very
piece
good
as part of Phase 2. I think that was also our hope.
Well, that would still be my hope, that
Yeah.
it would be part of the
Right.
Meeting House Pond
Right.
plan. Because again, if they're going to have to send all that equipment back in
Right.
to do 7 properties, it's going to be inordinately expensive. And I guess all the rest of those numbers, we're looking at another soaring plan down the road. But that whole watershed area is to Poche. which is a fairly low priority in a sewer plan because it's not the most impacted and it's very sparsely housed. So that, I mean, if that's going to wait for the Poche sewer plan, it's probably 30 years. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Uncle Harvey's is going to tank
So-
over and over again because an alum treatment is not meant to be a cure. It's meant to be a holding pattern.
It's a temporary
It's
solution.
a temporary fix.
And plus, just looking a little bit at the water quality data collected this summer, and I'll try to get a summary out in the future, but low dissolved oxygen below the 5 milligrams per liter did occur at both the locations for Poche all summer, so,
Well, they're apt to, yeah.
yeah, so.
That's
that isn't-
primarily marsh.
Yeah, and we had issues at, the other terminal, most of the terminal ponds. So, but Poche is definitely one of them. So, it's also like Crystal Lake too, where Phase 2 actually includes one house on Crystal Lake and then stops there. Now, I know we can't probably ever get that as part of Phase 2,
No.
but it does stop on Pond Road on Crystal Lake and doesn't go any further. And it's like, oh, so close.
So, yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
to include Pilgrim
I
and
know,
Crystal
I
in
know,
Phase
it's a
2,
bigger
it would take
ticket.
so much more time that it would
Yeah.
really
And-
stall and delay
money.
Meeting House.
And money, and they need to make some decisions as it applies to Lonnie's and the nitrogen issue, and all that. So there are a lot more moving parts probably for that particular one.
But what we were looking at for Crystal and Pilgrim now, we wanted this to be
Yep.
a start of
Yep.
doing the preliminary engineering necessary to have it become a phased sewer plan. And we've got that now, so I think that's a huge,
Right, you need the cost estimate to even know how to move forward and have discussions, so.
no
Yeah.
question.
All good, it's progress, which is
Good.
great, and we do appreciate the select board advancing the article, so. And Judith's gentle nudging.
I have never been accused of being gentle.
That was a joke. Okay, thank you. Number 8 on the agenda, I put the election of officers because it is time to do that. I was hoping we would have our final member appointed, but it hasn't happened yet, so I put it on there. However, if you want to wait, you can do that. It's your pleasure.
So I don't know how others feel. I think we can wait until we have our full committee. I don't see any hurry or need to, I don't.
It's whatever
I'm
the-
just speaking for myself.
Right.
I think we
I
can
agree.
roll along as is until we've got a full committee complement.
I
Okay.
mean, we're functioning quite well.
Oh, yeah,
So-
I put it on there because we're a little behind some of the other committees when they do it.
Are there any bylaws or anything guiding us in this regard?
I think they typically say the election will occur following the reappointment of committee members.
Yeah, and they've just been a little bit
So in that
behind on
case,
that.
we're waiting for the reappointment of a committee member.
Since it is on the agenda, though, I do know that Rich, he's indicated that he would consider continuing as clerk, should he be reelected, and I don't know about Ed as far as that
Sure,
goes.
I'm fine in my current spot.
Okay. All right, well, I'll put it on the agenda when we have another
Yeah,
member.
and I'm not opposed. I mean, if we want to go ahead and have the elections, I
I'm not sure it would
don't.
make any difference with two other people, particularly one person might abstain, not knowing.
It's only one other person
Yeah,
that
they
we're missing.
One other
probably would
person.
abstain, not knowing.
Yeah.
We
most
only
of
have
us.
one more to come
Yeah.
on.
Oh, put it on the next agenda, and
Sure.
then we give them 1 month to fill
Okay.
the
Hopefully
slot.
by
and if
then-
they don't do
Hopefully,
it,
they
then we
appoint
go ahead.
somebody by then, yes.
Okay, so
Okay, so I'm going to just say postpone
so
till,
we'll table this for,
yeah. It's one of those things, if it's not on the agenda, we can't talk about it, so.
yeah. Okay.
All right. Boy, we're moving right through the agenda quickly here. I know that we have one person in the audience. Did you have a comment or anything, or?
I just wanted to bring up the mill pond again.
Okay, if you want to make have a comment. I'll skip to the public comment, and then we'll go back to items for future agendas. But I think you have to go up there to the microphone and just state your name and where you live and.
So I'm Bill Brotherton, and I live at 17 Blue Rock Road in Orleans. And I am the representative for the Mill Pond Preservation Association. And so, you know, we're concerned that the mill pond is not on the bus, so to speak. And we would like to get it on the bus to, you know, at least start the study of the mill pond. So to that end, we started a petition, the Mill Pond Preservation Association, to ask the select board to start studying the mill pond. Unfortunately, I do not know all the regulations and how things work, so the 100 signatures that I got are useless because they weren't gotten early enough to affect the next meeting, and they're way too early to affect the May meeting. So the 100 signatures I got, I have to go back and get all over again for the May meeting because they're no good for the October meeting. But anyway, I would like to, you know, ask you for your help and maybe your guidance on how the Mill Pond Preservation Association should proceed to get the town to start studying the mill pond. Because there's a couple of things. First of all, you know, we have the sewering that we've talked about that I asked previously, and you all said that well, not you all said, but some of you said that you thought that sewering would be the only solution. But it also turns out, you know, that they're going to be doing the dredging, and the dredging does not include dredging any of the mill pond, but the dredges are going to be right there. Again, it becomes like the driveway. The plan is to open up the race before the mill pond, and so it can flow out and back and forth better. But there is no study being done about whether dredging the mill pond while the dredge is there would be beneficial or not.
Right, you need to know that.
So we would need, so there's
Just a
there's a
second.
bunch of things that we would like the town to start studying before it's
Right.
too late.
Right, well, we do have a lot of data on the mill pond, water quality. We've been monitoring it for about 20 years. So
Right.
there is information. Judith?
Yeah, so I guess I'd just like to say that the 100 signatures were not a waste of time and effort. Anytime you make noise, you're heard. I don't, you know,